As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Paul Skenes, about close to exactly 1 year after he was drafted, he's going to be the starting pitcher for the All-Star game as a rookie. I think he's the fifth rookie to get that. He's going to be starting for the National League team, and uh, if you've kept up with his stuff, he's been incredible. He had a no hitter through 7 innings the other day, and just effortless fastball, and then he's got this backdoor slider that is just a killer. It's fun watching him pitch.
He is he's winning in life, man.
Yeah.
He's doing pretty well. First of all, absolutely nasty on the mound.
Yep.
Personal life's going well.
Yes.
Saw his girlfriend's going back to for another year there at LSU. I see her on like the Viore commercials. I'm like, oh hey, that's Paul Skeens' girlfriend. No, she's made a name for herself. Didn't need
I mean,
Paul, but
well,
what a
yeah,
power
like
couple for them.
it is. At first, it was like, is he
Yeah,
her boyfriend, or like who's
it was
the
like Livy Dunn's boyfriend is pretty good at baseball, right? Like, hey, yeah, that's
right?
I'm pretty sure. And then, oh my gosh, he's incredible.
Yeah, he. I've just, and I know I'm no baseball expert, but the effortless velocity is maybe the most impressive thing that I've seen from him. It's just great command and throws so hard, and it looks like it's the easiest thing he's ever done.
He is also massive.
Yeah,
Was like 6'6", 240.
yeah, big dude, big
So
dude.
now I think the only other thing left to discuss when it comes to Skeens is how you feeling about that mustache?
I
You're
I
not a
don't
facial
know.
hair guy. You're not a facial hair guy. It
Well,
despite for years the listeners of this podcast demanding that bearded Ted make a return. You just won't give it to him. You're not a facial hair guy. You refuse.
well, I don't necessarily refuse. Um, for whatever reason, it makes the skin on my face like real itchy and dry. It's just for whatever reason, it doesn't work well with me. But I do not look down on it at all. I got no problem with it. The mustache thing has, over the last couple of years, has had a massive comeback. Will it last? I don't know.
If I'm Skeens, I'm not changing a thing.
No, 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 no.
Don't touch that much. You leave that mustache alone. You keep doing exactly what you've been doing, Skeens.
Okay.
Everything's working.
Yeah, whatever your little routine is, brush that thing out before you go out in the mound. Whatever it is, you keep doing that. It's working wonders.
This is how good he is. I can't tell you the last time I thought about the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I know.
And now I'm seeing stuff about him all the time because of him.
I know it. He he had that no hitter through 7. I think he just walked one guy. 11 strikeouts through 7 innings, and he got the win. They won the game 1-0. So that was nice. That was
Does
nice.
does Andrew McCutcheon still play for the Pirates?
I don't know. He
He's
had
the
that.
he when I think of the Pirates, that's who I think of.
He had a hot run there for a little bit, but I don't
I'm gonna
know.
say he still plays for the Pirates. I could give it a quick Google, but that's no fun. Yeah, McCutcheon, of course. He's still a Pirate. Come on, of course.
I don't know if I could handle like the complete reversal with the Orioles doing as good as they are, and if the Pirates turn it around, like what would we do then?
Uh, do we have to start watching baseball during the regular season then?
I guess so. I'll be
Oh my!
watching the All Star stuff. I always like the home run derby and the All Star game. That's pretty fun.
I just the new home run derby format where it's like basically cardio for the guys. I absolutely hate it, but I will watch it. Congrats, Skeens. Keep winning at life, man. You're We're all rooting for you, dude. Who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Oh man, I had to go with Joker, the Djokovic, man.
Mm,
Got his ass kicked in straight sets. Is this
it
the
was.
the passing of the torch?
I'm not sure. Guy just had knee surgery. Okay,
All right.
he's getting up there. Was he
I know.
36?
It's a young man's game.
I watched. I went to Ted. I've gone to Wimbledon one time, and now I'm just a tennis guy. What's up? I was watching it. It was on early. I was up. I was like, hey, let's
Now
let's
what? It
see.
was 3-3 in the third set, and I think it was 3-3, or maybe it's 3-2, but
The
Djokovic
first
had a break.
game took
Yeah.
forever.
If Djokovic would have got that break where he had him, they were going back and forth for a long time, but he couldn't complete it. I think that was like he may have had a chance to make a run at that point, but I don't know.
I
The young kids got some attitude to go with it too, some cockiness.
A lot of fist pumping from Alcaraz.
Yeah.
I was a fan of it. This is I'm not a tennis expert. I know the rules. That's about it. I don't know anything about technique or anything like that. I know a whooping when I see one.
Mm-hmm.
And that, my friend, was a whooping.
Yep.
I mean, Alcaraz was hitting the ball harder. He was moving faster. I mean, it's so many more winners. Like the precision of his shots was it just a
Yeah.
different level than Djokovic's. Dude, there was so much hype for that final. The get-in prices were crazy, and it was like it wasn't even close.
No.
It honestly was it was a bit of a letdown for me because I was pretty excited about it, and that thing, you realized pretty early that thing, Djokovic did not have a chance against Alcaraz on Sunday.
Were you guys in the main court?
Yeah, center court was sweet.
How big is it?
It's big.
Because it
But you're
looks
like
big on
you're
TV.
never far like none of the seats you wouldn't feel far away if that makes sense.
Yeah, because the playing surface is probably what, like all things considered, about the size of a basketball court or maybe smaller,
It's bigger than that
bigger.
because there's a lot of space around the actual court if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Like it's all like in this oval
Pretty wide.
where the ball boys are the most entertaining thing, man. Those
Sprinting
kids
around.
are they're like, dude, I guess they're like military trained or something.
Huh.
It's this big honor, like this intense thing. I don't know. It is, but you just watch some of the stuff they do. I was just sitting there chuckling watching them. I was like, do you really need to? Do you really need to do that? It's pretty
It's a
funny though.
well-oiled machine. However it is, they're running all over the place.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun to watch.
I I only watch tennis majors.
Oh yeah.
That is right. U.S.
I
Open,
only
Wimbledon,
watch
like
tennis major finals.
yeah, maybe sometimes they're on in the background on ESPN stuff like that. If you got the
Yeah.
channel on, I like watching the semis and the finals typically.
It's a good
Alcaraz,
background sport to
oh,
watch.
tremendous,
Just come check in every now and then.
and
Got a big
especially
break point, possibly.
French Open, Wimbledon on early because of the time change, that type of stuff. But it does feel like Carlos Alcaraz is going to be in our lives for a long, long time.
Oh
Was
yeah.
he 4 for 4 in major finals? He's 21 years old, dude.
Back to back Wimbledon, right? So, I don't know. I don't think Djokovic is done, but I think it's a sign that they're going to be way more difficult. What do you think? Is like the standard court going to be easier for him after a knee than the grass and the clay where you slide a little bit?
I He's one of those guys where I just think it's going to take a little time with where he's at age wise, like to get back to full form.
Mm-hmm.
But Alcaraz is just an athlete, man. It may
He's
just be a
quick.
bad matchup for him.
Yeah,
I,
he's
I do
quick.
think they've played. I think they've played 6 times, and I think it's 3-3. But these last couple, it just feels like Alcaraz's quickness, his youth is a problem for him.
Oh, I know. Don't you know that Djokovic is like that cocky little prick? He's so fast. He gets to everything.
It's like, I hate this kid.
Oh man.
Let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
Three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they're honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you're headed. Open an account at an award winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
and head to opolisclothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com and use promo code TED, TED, for 10% off. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off. For my winner of the weekend, thought about going with Dylan Gabriel. Was perusing ESPN Bet, Ted, and guess who is your new preseason betting favorite to win the Heisman Trophy?
DG. How about that?
DG jumps Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers over the weekend and is now ESPN Bet's betting favorite at plus 750 to win the Heisman Trophy. I'm not sure we acknowledged just how weird this situation is.
It's weird.
It continues to feel weirder and weirder. And he had a really nice season for OU a year ago. He's got a lot of talent around him at Oregon now, but a guy that a coaching staff said, you know what? We're going to go with the young guy with the higher ceiling. Best of luck. Is now your preseason favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. It's just, we've never really had a story like this.
We had to essentially defend him for his 2 years at Oklahoma, you know?
Or at least that's how it felt.
That's how it felt. I mean, there was a lot of people that respected and could see how good his play was. But I think this is, like, all things being equal, and I know they're not, but Oklahoma has seen Heisman level quarterback play very recently. And what we saw, it was good. It was really good, but it didn't feel like Heisman level quarterback.
I think that's completely fair. I just interesting, man. It's just a unique situation.
Yeah. Now, you look at the numbers that Bo Nix put in that system, insane. If he can replicate that, it's hard to say that he won't have a great chance at it.
No doubt. But my win of the weekend, you kind of stole it a little bit, but not all the way. I went with Spain. So first of all,
Okay.
Spain wins the Euros. Beat England 2-1.
That play at the end was crazy.
What was that? Olmo? The header to prevent the equalizer? That was legit.
Oh, that was legit. That was nuts. That was cool.
But so you had that in the go-ahead goal for them in the 86th minute. You talk about barely just on sides.
Mm.
That was beautiful. That's why they call it the beautiful game. Plays like that. That was well executed there, Spain. But you had that, and then Alcaraz won Wimbledon. And even Sergio Garcia won Live Golf this weekend in Spain. How about that? Spanish weekend. Big Spanish weekend.
Well, sorry, when you said you had Spain, I
you thought I was just talking about soccer.
I did.
That's okay, but it's soccer. It's Alcaraz. I'll even throw Sergio in there. Just a good week for the Spanish. And did you see Alcaraz tweeting about the soccer?
No.
I think Alcaraz was having some beverages and celebrating the victory. And he was firing off. It felt like just drunk fan tweets, and it made me like the kid even more.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
The
Yeah, that I
before
guess that is a big weekend there. I didn't even, yeah. Wow. How about that?
Can you imagine if you're Carlos Alcaraz, you just won your second Wimbledon by destroying Djokovic, and then you get to watch your soccer squad win a massive soccer tournament?
Where was that game? The soccer game.
It was in Germany.
Okay.
So that's that they were hosting the Euros, but should we feel bad for England? I feel like every time they I feel like every time they feel like they're going to experience true joy, it just gets ripped away from them in
Hey, it,
soccer. That's how it feels.
it's the soccer version of the Dallas Cowboys. It's the like maybe this is the best thing in the world to do is you root against England. It's the most rewarding thing in sports.
I've never thought of it that way.
You got to try it. Try rooting against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm telling you, it
Oh, I don't need
is
to try.
okay.
Not difficult for me.
And I want
It's
like
personal. No, nothing against Cowboys fans. It's just it's a personal thing for me.
I want CeeDee Lamb to have 200 yards receiving every single game, and they
Absolutely.
just come up short, just barely. It's awesome.
My loser of the weekend. And I'm interested in your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Jalen Brunson, New York Knicks. I want to start by saying this. Him taking less money so that the New York Knicks can assemble a better team around him is awesome. It's unselfish. I think it shows how badly he cares about winning. I think it shows that he's a competitor. I love it. I also I also think it's really stupid. I think it's dumb. Because you look at it, he agreed to, and it's hard to feel bad for a guy that agreed to a 4 year, $156.5 million contract.
Right.
It's hard.
It's like, what do you mean he took less money? How's
Yeah.
that possible?
Signs a 4 year, $156.5 million contract extension. But that is $113 million less than what he would be eligible to sign a year from now. So he basically, when you look at it, he is leaving $37 million on the table over the next 3 years. And sure, you can say that he'll be able to recoup some of that down the line, sign another massive deal in 2028 or 2029. That's true. That absolutely is. But he's the face of the franchise. He's the face of one of the most valuable sports franchises on the planet. And he's playing for a discount. I don't like it. I don't like I love it, but I hate it because he's one of the best players in the NBA. He is an all NBA player. He has brought that franchise back. I just don't think he should be playing for a discount. And maybe the reason I don't like it so much is it just makes me nervous for him. And I love watching Jalen Brunson play. I don't want to be nervous for him for an entire season
Yeah.
because he's a small guard, even though he's tough as hell. But I feel like every time I'm going to be watching him this season, I'm just going to be thinking, please don't hurt your knee. Please don't hurt your Achilles. Just please stay healthy because of the decision you made. And I don't like that. I don't want to have to watch Jalen Brunson and be worried about his health the entire time because he left all that money on the table. I don't know, Ted. I love the unselfishness of it. I love the competitiveness of it. But he's one of like the best 6 or 7 basketball players on planet Earth. I feel like he shouldn't be playing for a discount.
Well, I almost always, especially whenever the numbers are what they are, almost always I would say that it's a good thing to do. But in the NBA, and you know more about the NBA salary cap than I do, it's not a hard cap, right?
It is, they have implemented the new CBA. There's these new aprons, and the second apron, while you can go over it, it's becoming pretty obvious with how punitive it is that that second apron is essentially acting as a new hard cap for the NBA.
Right.
Or at least that's kind of how I am perceiving it. And that is one of the things is this kid keeps the Knicks out of the second apron. So congrats. You helped James Dolan, everyone's favorite owner in sports.
That's my thing is you know, with where they're at, and I don't know enough about their team and who gets paid what, but the fact that one of the best players in the NBA is having to take less probably means that they fouled up somewhere else by giving guys more, or I don't know. But in the NBA, I typically say with all the trades and how things work in that league, and as much money as everyone's making, I say get whatever you can. Like when you sign the max deal, you sign. It's like that's a given. Are
Yeah.
there any other teams anywhere like where we've? This is the first time I've heard of an NBA player not taking the max deal whenever they're able to get it if they're in that position. You know?
Yeah. You just don't do this. What LeBron took like $2 million less than the max. And I think you go back all the way to Tim Duncan. There was a time where he wanted to be able to retain, I want to say it was Ginobili, and he took like 11 million less.
Mm-hmm.
This is you're leaving 37 million on the table and you're putting 113 at risk.
Yeah, yeah. LeBron
We've
took
never
2 million
seen anything
off.
like this in the NBA.
Yeah, I, it's wild. That's the holy thing with me is like the way the contracts are done and how quickly people get traded and how quickly things can change. It's kind of shocking to me. Like it's just kind of doing business. Like whenever you've got a guy, you pay him the max deal, whether they're really worth it or not. I mean, there's been guys on franchises that get the max deal, and you're like, hang on a second, this guy makes how much? I just doesn't seem right, but that's just kind of how it goes. Um, I'll say this: kudos to him for making a move that he thinks is going to him help them put together a better team that can go be more competitive. But I'd be poking my head in that room to see who they're going to grab because
He's in
you
it.
know they're buying them with your money.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. It's a unique situation, right? Leon Rose, who heads up the Knicks basketball operations, used to be his agent. His dad's like on the coaching staff. It's a unique situation where there are undoubtedly people in the room that have Jalen Brunson's best interest at heart.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, that is a lot of money to leave on the table.
It is.
No matter how close you are to the people that are making the decisions. You blow a knee out, you pop an Achilles, the loyalty's going to be there. I,
No, it
I,
can't be.
I
They got
know
a
that's
business
why
to run. Yeah.
I don't like it, man. And maybe the Knicks, because they were able to re-sign OG Anunoby to a massive deal. They traded for Mikal Bridges and got rid of all those picks in that process. Like they're all in. And Brunson is doing him a massive solid with what he's doing from his contract. But what happens if nothing comes of it for them?
Yeah.
Like Boston's not going anywhere. The West is loaded. Now maybe they go to the finals once, maybe they go twice. I don't know, but man, it is.
Do you think is there any chance that he maybe did that as a way to get out of there?
No. He's the guy.
No.
He's the man.
Okay.
I mean, he's Mr. New York right now. I mean, he's the most pop from what I understand now. Don't
I
spend a lot
like
of
the
time in
way
New
he
York.
plays. I really like
Everyone
the way he
does.
plays.
And this is only going to make that fan base love him even more.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is our guy. He took less so that we could be even better. Like that plays really, really well for a fan base. Let me make myself very clear. A couple years down the road, if Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren does something like this, I'm going to talk about how they're the greatest human beings ever, and it's the best decision ever. That's sports
Uh,
fandom, right? But he's taking less now. I saw the numbers on his possible contracts down the road. He can sign. He's got a fourth-year player option on the contract he just signed. So if he opts out, he can sign a 4-year, $323 million deal in 2028 or a 5-year, $418 million deal in 2029. So I'm
mhm.
not worried about Jalen Brunson's financial security, but I don't like the fact that I'm going to watch him all year long going, please don't get hurt
Yeah.
because of this decision he made. And he's going to, I sure he'll get a bunch of marketing deals and that'll make up the gap a little bit, but you ain't making up 37 million with marketing deals. You're just not.
No, you're not. But, it is like perspective wise, it wasn't very long ago at all. The thought of someone making $37 million a year, a 4-year, $156 million contract would have been like, this guy's the biggest asshole ever. He's not worth that much money. How could he do that to the Knicks? you know? But now he's Robin Hood.
Please just don't get hurt, Jalen Brunson. I like watching you play basketball.
He'll be fine. They're gonna knock Boston out in the Eastern Conference Finals next year. They're gonna carry him off the court.
Or Tom Thibodeau plays him like 43 minutes a game and he's hurt by the All Star break.
Yeah, there's a chance of that too.
I love it. I love it, Jalen Brunson, but I don't like it at all.